Okay, everybody, thank you for coming in with me. I wanted to share this with you. This is Trump visits California areas devastated by the recent wildfires. Kind of misleading because Trump does visit California. Um, it only shows him in front of like one house or one structure, that was hit by the fires. There's probably clips out there of more of him surveying more of the area. I've just not seen it, and it's not in these clips. But I did want to show this to you. This is him coming off the plane. He's going to meet Governor Newsome here. Now, the media is reporting, I've seen 100 videos about how Governor Newsome wasn't invited. Trump didn't invite Governor Newsome. Governor Newsome is showing up because he wants to, uninvited. No one asked him to be there. Video after video, and I think it's disgusting. I think that's our media continuing to try to divide us, and I think that's what we need to remember. Our media is trying to divide us, because whether he was invited or not, that shouldn't be the focal point. He's there. He's showing up. Newsom is showing up to greet him. They are going to work together. He is the governor of California. So Trump is going to work with him, has to work with him, and the mayor to make this all work. So I think that's important. I think it's important that we realize the media and the media talking points. We need to start just tuning them out and seeing the real picture. And that's what this is going to show today, is them working together. So let me get forward on this just a little bit. There they come. There's really not any audio of them coming down, but I'll go ahead and unmute it. A great looking couple right there. I keep forgetting I gotta pause if I want to talk, but that's a great looking couple right there. They're not saying anything that we can hear here.
Hello, everybody. So we just left North Carolina a little while ago. We have that in very good shape. We have the congressman in charge and Michael Watley, and we're going to do a lot of work. We have the Army Corps of Engineers working as they are here. And I think you're going to see some very big progress. They left them high and dry. And now we're going to be taking a little tour with some of the people from the area. I appreciate the governor coming out and meeting me, Kevin. Very much. And we'll be talking a little bit. We want to get it fixed. We want to get the problem fixed. And there'll be some ways, but it's like you got hit by a bomb, right?
Yeah.
Like you got hit by a bomb. Would you like to say something?
Most importantly, thank you for being here. It means a great deal to all of us, and not just the folks in Palisades, the folks in Altadena that were devastated. We're going to need your support. We're going to need your help. You were there for us during COVID. I don't forget that. And I have all the expectations that we'll be able to work together.
Did Trump look surprised there? Did Trump move back like, whoa, wait, what did he say? I think Trump looked surprised there. It kind of threw him off guard, like, wait a minute, this guy saying nice stuff to me because the Democrats don't want him to. You're going to hear on The View and everywhere else, any Democrat talking head, they're not going to be happy that Newsom is so welcoming to Trump. But that's what needs to happen for this to be fixed and everybody to work together. So that's great that he's come out here and he's ready to work with the president.
To get this speedy recovery.
We will. We're going to get it done. Tremendous numbers of lives have been affected. A lot of real estate's been affected. Nobody's ever probably seen anything like this. You could almost say since the Second World War, when you think of it. I mean, nothing like this has happened. And we're going to get it fixed, so we'll get it permanently fixed, so it can't happen again. And again, we'll be talking a little bit later, and we'll get it worked out, okay?
I appreciate it, Mr. President.
Thank you, God.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Both of you have disagreed a lot over the past week.
Okay, so here we go with the media again. The media does not want this unity. The media is disgusting.
You have disagreed a lot over the past week over what has happened in this state. How do you plan to
We got to
put your
get it
differences
finished.
aside?
We're looking to get something completed. And the way you get it completed is to work together. He's the governor of the state. And we're going to get it completed. They're going to need a lot of federal help. Unless you don't need any, which should be okay.
We're going to need a lot of federal help.
So we're going to take care of things, okay?
I have all the confidence in the world we'll work that out.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, I didn't hear that question, but you see, the governor is willing to work with the president, and the president is willing to work with the governor, and it's making the media skin crawl.
Thank you. I guess some of you are coming with us, and some of you not. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll see you.
All right, now we're going to forward this a little bit. Go ahead and get them after they've got off the plane and got situated where they want them to set up for the next, I guess, picture op. We're not going to watch that. All right, hold on. We're not going to watch that ad. Now, I don't know who he's talking to here. Maybe the people that's the house is behind him. I'm not sure. They didn't really say who these people were. It looks like they are having a very sincere conversation here with him. And we're not going to watch all of it. I'm just going to let you see a few minutes of it, and then we're going to move forward.
Da, ja imam niz našeg na ovoj strani, kad je počeo rat na ovoj strani, on je bio Bosna, znači, kaže, Igor na Balkonu, ja sam nazvala Hrvatska i nisam htjela da idem, niko nisam mislila da će doći do ovoga i bili smo ovdje do prva petica, dok ja odšla pa gledam školu.
You see back there behind them, that is a house or building or something that's been burnt.
And I think that a lot of people feel that we've been kind of abandoned and let down by local leadership.
Did you hear what he said? He's saying the same thing that people in North Carolina said. They feel like they've been abandoned or left out by leadership. So, the same kind of story in California that came from North Carolina.
The fire department's been amazing, but they need more resources. And in order for us to go back, we need better infrastructure. We need to make sure this never happens. Yeah. We're gonna need small businesses. We're gonna need, frankly, we're gonna need help from you guys.
Oh my God, look at her little house.
So neat to have that connection.
I know. Speaking the language from the child.
I saw the comfort.
I know.
I saw the comfort in your face.
Yeah. So sad. Yeah. Because we thought, she comes here and build a life in the house and the family.
This is the second time.
From nothing and building up and become successful.
Okay, so we really can't hear the whole conversation they're having. They're actually having two different conversations. Trump speaking with the man over there, and Melania's speaking with the I'm gonna say woman because I don't know if it's his wife or family member or what it is. But I'm gonna move forward to where they go on to the meeting because you can't really see a lot of the conversation, what's going on. I will show, they're going to zoom out and show the structure here as they walk away.
Mike and Gabby. Not even believable. It's really not believable.
So as you can see, there's a couple different families that he talks to. There's their houses behind them. It's been burnt. All right, he meets with the firemen here.
And I'm telling you, you will definitely.
We're not watching that. Hold on. All right, I can have ads. They can have ads. It's not gonna be ads. Free ads. I ain't getting no ads. Nothing for me. But so they go through and they talk to all the fire department. Fire department's been wonderful. They've worked with what they've had available to them. They can only do what they can do. I've heard stories of them trying to take bags of water and pulling water from pools and everything, going above and beyond, even when they didn't have resources. So the fire department has been wonderful. So they kind of just go through here and meet and greet all of them. Okay, now here we are, where they're meeting all the other politicians and stuff. They're going to come in this room, sit down, and now he's really going to talk about what his plans are and what they're going to do. So let me scoot that up for you. All right, here we go. From the mayor. Mayor, thank you very much. She should not be mayor at this point, but she is. I keep forgetting I got to pause this because my audio doesn't come out well over it if I don't, but he's greeting the mayor there, who probably shouldn't be mayor at this point, but if you upend her and take her out right now while they're trying to do recovery and fixing stuff, it's probably going to be a bigger mess. So they're going to have to work with who's there at the moment to get this fixed, and then worry about either having a recall or a new election and getting a new mayor in there.
Well, thank you very much.
I like how he pulls Melania's seat out there, and no one talks about that. No one talks about just the little subtle things they do for each other.
Everybody, this is an honor to be with you. Unfortunately, it's a very sad period, but what makes you feel good is I met so many of the homeowners, and every one of them, a lot of them, and every one of them said to me they want to rebuild. I said, will you go elsewhere? No, 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 no.
Wonder what Newsome thinks about that. And the reason I say that is because I know you guys have heard the rumor, maybe you haven't. There's a rumor that these fires were set on purpose, and the state set these fires to get ready for 2028 and the Olympics and 15-minute cities. And if all these homeowners want to keep their land and they want to rebuild right where they were, how's that going to work? How's that going to kind of mess up their plans of wanting to build this whole new, because they have a plan out. Like, they have a 2028 plan to where they want to rebuild and make the city different. So how is that going to mess with their plans to do that if all these homeowners want to rebuild right where they used to live?
It wasn't even like a question. They love the area. They love the people. It's like a family. It's incredible, actually, when you see some things like that. We just left North Carolina, and we had just a similar type of disaster. It was water instead of fire, but boy, that water did damage like I've never seen before. And then you come here and you see this. But the people are so amazing, and your fire department was so beautiful. Every one of them is in perfect physical shape. I said, what do you guys do? They have very high standards, I can tell you. And we took pictures with all of them, but very nicely they gave us a little helmet. And I said, you wear this, huh? Is this real? And they said, yeah. I said, it's awfully heavy. You have to be very strong to wear that. But that's the original, right? So it's pretty good. But I just want to thank everybody. We're going to be with you. Your governor met us at the plane, and we had a good talk, very, very positive talk. We have to work together to get this.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds, and this year.
All right, Ryan Reynolds. We're going to skip on through you.
With you, your governor met us at the plane, and we had a good talk, very, very positive talk. We have to work together to get this really worked out. I don't think you can realize how rough it is, how devastating it is until you see it. I didn't realize. I mean, I saw a lot of bad things on television, but the extent of it, the size.
You do see a lot of stuff on TV, and I can imagine until you're really there and seeing it firsthand, even though you can look at a TV screen and be like, this is devastating, when you're there, the atmosphere, all that together, I can imagine it's so much greater.
Of it. We flew over it in a helicopter. We flew to a few of the areas, and it is devastation. It's incredible. It's really an incineration. Even some of the chimneys came down, okay? When you have the chimneys come down, you know that's pretty hot stuff, and a lot of them were down. That was a bad sign, too. But I just want to commiserate, and we're going to celebrate. We'll be back to celebrate one day soon, I hope soon. The federal government standing behind you, 100%. The First Lady and I are in California to express a great love for the people of California. I've had great support always in California. We did very well recently, as you know, relatively speaking, at least I can say. And it's been amazing. I have property in California, not too far away, actually, right up the road in Palos Verdes, a big property. And I've always loved it. I've always loved being here. But we have to grieve for the 28 Californians who have tragically perished. And sadly, you're going to be finding more. And that's going to be very sad, because I know people are missing. And when you look at that kind of incineration, you know what's going to happen. You're going to find some more. But with all that we've gone through, I watched your firefighters, and they were really fighting at a big disadvantage. I got to know a lot of them just now, and they're incredible people. They were so happy. They were saying, congratulations, sir. You know, they're thinking about country maybe even before this location that they all love. But I'm pleased to be joined by many of the great California leaders, both Democrat and Republican. And it's an honor to meet some of you I didn't know, but I know every one of you by name. LA County Supervisor.
All right, we're not going to sit here while he names all of them off, so we're going to forward on through that.
He's actually been a great congressman for a long time, and he's pretty well, to put it mildly, is Tom McClintock going at this one. I know that. Well, 2.5 weeks ago, over 100-mile-an-hour winds transformed the Palisades fire and other areas too into absolute infernos of death and destruction. And this is already the most expensive natural disaster, they say, in American history. That's pretty amazing. The numbers are going to be staggering. Most importantly, we have to get it built, and we have to hopefully find as few people as possible. We have already too many, 28 at least, they say. We're going to work very...
28 is too many. For a fire that large, I kind of feel like, unfortunately, as they start the recovery efforts, they're either going to find more people, or people still will be missing. Because to have a fire that widespread, I hope only 28 people will be the end number.
Very hard with the mayor, the governor, the supervisor, and everybody, and get the resources behind you. We have some amazing people, and we have some amazing fighters for things like this. I also had the concept of getting some of the best developers in the country. I've had so many calls from developers, and they want to come in. They don't want anything. They just want to come in and help, and they really know how to get things done and get things built. I would ask that the local officials, because we're going to waive, just about essentially waive all federal permits. We're going to have you go very quickly, because a federal permit can take 10 years. We're not going to do that. We're not going to.
Free Tax USA.
All right, we're not going to do this either. Hold on. Let's get rid of this. All right, we're going to get past that commercial. And while I'm paused, I just want to say, he's talking about he knows all kinds of real estate people and developers that want to come in. And I bet he does. And if y'all remember Trump when he did his TV show, The Apprentice, essentially that's what they did. They would call up favors from people they knew, and they would get people to donate their time or donate money or donate this or that, and people came together, the Celebrity Apprentice, to get together and give money for causes and to get stuff done. If he runs this like he did The Apprentice, and then he just calls everybody he knows and lets other celebrities or other people call people they know, and these people just come together to help fix this, this will run a lot smoother, go a lot faster, and will help everybody in the long run. It's just getting rid of all the red tape, and he's going to talk about that here in a minute too. So here we go.
Federal permits, we're going to have you go very quickly, because a federal permit can take 10 years. We're not going to do that. We don't want to take 10 days. I would.
Because that's what it is. It's the government red tape that holds everything up. That's what keeps people from rebuilding and being able to move on. And it's what's happened in North Carolina, essentially. And that's what Trump's coming in to get rid of, so everybody can rebuild.
So we're declaring this a national emergency. By doing that, I can give you immediate permits. I'd ask that the local permitting process be the same. Some of the people were saying they're going to be forced to wait 18 months for their permits, and I don't think you're going to do that.
Wow.
I can't imagine that. So they are.
Wow, 18 months just to get permits to rebuild. So what he's essentially done here is call out the officials in California and let them know that he expects for them to waive these permits. That way people can start rebuilding immediately, that they don't have to wait on all the paperwork and the red tape and the government nonsense that people don't have time to wait for. And him doing this at this press conference is kind of like 100% transparency. Now I've let all the people know, everybody in America see this. We don't want people to have to wait to rebuild. We want them to rebuild now. And if it doesn't happen, it's going to be on the shoulders of Karen Bass and Gavin Newsome and other mayors, whoever the other mayors and the other people are that is over top of California. So if they don't waive these permits or make these permits go fast, when the election time comes back up, it's hopefully going to hurt them.
They're literally in a position right now they'd like to start tonight, and they'll clean their site, they'll do everything, they just want to start, and they were very concerned with the 18 months, so I'm sure you can get it down to, I would say, not even 18 days. They are ready, Mayor, they are ready to start. I met so many of them. The fire took place, it's nice and cool there now, and they want to start taking the debris. They want to take the debris, they want to do everything. They'll get rid of everything. They're going to do it by their own.
Now she's shaking her head and smiling, but let's see after he leaves and tomorrow when the media gets a hold of her, let's see if she's still shaking her head and smiling and she's agreeing, because right now she's agreeing with him. But once the media comes out, because the media is nasty, the media is going to come out and say, he can't tell you what to do. This is your city. You run your city how you want to run your city. You have to have permit process. You have to have paperwork. You have to have this. You have to. Let's see if she backtracks. But right now she's smiling and nodding. And let's hope it stays that way. Let's hope the media doesn't influence these politicians to do something different.
One hand, and you're going to see some amazing things happen. So we're waiving the federal permits. Either waive them or give them to you so rapidly it's going to be essentially the same thing, but we're going to try and just waive them, and we'll rely on the local. But the local, I hope, is going to do the same exact thing. They're literally ready to start right away tonight. So if you could do almost the same thing or the same thing would be great. For a building permit, you're going to have to, check things out a little bit. A lot of them, every single one of them said they're going to rebuild. I didn't have one person say they're selling or they're leaving or they're disgusted. They love their community, and it's incredible. We even had one from your neck of the woods, right? Yeah. Do you want to stand up? It was so nice the way she greeted my wife in a very different language, right? And it was very nice to see. And you're staying, and you're going to rebuild, and everything else. Yeah, everybody. So it's really great. So I'm sorry.
I think that's awesome, and I think that's awesome that he's made it known here in this press conference where everybody can see it, because I think that the plan from the politicians was that people weren't going to rebuild, and they could rebuild the city how they wanted to, because what I had heard in other videos is they wanted to make like a bunch of apartments for people to live in, that there would be no single family homes. So I don't know if that was true. Again, they do have a rebuilding plan. I like to see if that rebuilding plan changes now, especially with him saying he's asked people if they want to stay, if they want to rebuild their single family homes, and them saying yes, and now it's being put out there and the city's been put on notice of it, if they'll try to force them to not or to sell.
Signing an executive order to open up the pumps and valves in the north. We want to get that water pouring down here as quickly as possible and let hundreds of millions of gallons of water flow down into Southern California, and that'll be a big benefit to you. If you don't want it, you're going to tell me, but I can't imagine it. I tell you who does like it is the fire department. When I said that, they were very happy with that.
I became a medical assistant in
Oh no. Be a medical assistant on your own time.
And I hope you can work that out among yourselves. But I think this will show that we have to have that water. We have to have that water. You're talking about unlimited water coming up from the Pacific Northwest, even coming up from parts of Canada. And it pours down naturally. It has for a million years. For a million years, it pours down. You'll never run out. You'll never have shortages, and you won't have things like this. And when you do, you'll have a lot of water to put it out. So I'm going to ask that you figure that out. But I really strongly recommended this 7 years ago, and I think I'm going to just do it. If you have big problems, you're going to let me know, but I just can't even imagine it. But we're also surging federal resources and assistance to the state, and California must adopt the common sense policies to prevent fires, and we all know that. We were talking 7 or 8 years ago, I was talking to people from Austria, people from Finland, people that live in forests. One of the gentlemen, one of the top great leaders of Austria said, we don't have forest fires, and we have trees that are actually far more flammable than they have in California, but they literally rake their forests. They take down, if a tree comes down, they take it down. They say you have 18 months. After that, it's like a matchstick. And I know environmentally, some environmental groups like the trees to just melt into the ground, but when they do melt into the ground, they become an inferno. So I think you're going to have to change your ways in terms of that. You have 30 years of leaves, and those leaves are dry as a bone, and they burn. You know, interestingly, because I was at Paradise, who is the general, right? A long time ago, I was at Paradise. What a beautiful paradise it was. And how is it doing, by the way? Are they rebuilding, right? Remember when he said, you were up here, President. I went there. I never saw anything like it. But you know what amazed me? I'll never forget it. The trees were okay because the trees are loaded with water. They sucked that water out of the ground. And this was an inferno, just like, I would say no different than this. And it was also the wind that caused a lot of problem. I mean, you had tremendous winds that there's not a lot you're going to do with. You had up to 100-mile-an-hour winds. It's unheard of. But when I was in...
Basically, what he's telling them here is, we're going to come in and we're going to help you, but we want you to help yourself. And you're going to help yourself by you're going to start bringing water down. You're going to allow the water to flow through, and you're going to clear your forest. You're going to do your forest management, and you're going to have water available. And honestly, that sounds very reasonable. I don't know what the problem would be with either one of those. But those are the two main things that California doesn't want to do. But Trump says we want to help you, but we also want you to help yourself.
Paradise, I noticed that the trees, they were dark on the bottom, but they were absolutely living, and they lived because they're soaking wet. But the trees that were on the ground, within 12 to 18 months, they say 18 months at a maximum, you have to cut them up, take them away because they're matchsticks.
My neuropathy is almost gone now. My iron.
All these commercials. Okay, and so I went ahead and skipped ahead because he was basically just telling them the same thing. You got to clean up the forest. You got to bring down the water. So we skipped ahead just a little bit.
We have the three biggest there are, and it was an honor to get. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if you have a statement to make, I'd love to have politically, if you'd like to make a statement. Brad, go ahead.
Mr. President?
Okay, I'll do
Mr. President, thank you for coming
Thank you, Brad.
to the 32nd Congressional District and
Thank you.
making feel poop.
Now he's going to kind of call out the president here. So check this out.
Most people don't have adequate insurance because they couldn't get it. So one company dropped 1,600 policies just in the last 6 months. We've got 16 times as much property damage here as from Hawaii. And I'm hoping that we get at least 16 times the federal appropriation for the CDBG program that helps people rebuild. And I know you've talked about policies of California that you're not a fan of, but I've been in Congress for 28 years. I really disagree with Louisiana on their abortion policy. I disagree with them on their campaign finance policy. I disagree with North Dakota on their gun policy. And I would never turn to somebody from Louisiana and say, you keep living on your cousin's couch, because we're not going to help you rebuild until Louisiana agrees with me on a woman's right to choose. So I'm hoping that we can get these funds and that we don't punish individuals for the policies of their state. You can disagree with them, and I think you've got some ideas. I look forward to our...
You see how his smile laughed? Look, Trump is sitting there. What's crazy is this man stood here through this whole thing and didn't hear a word that President Trump said. All he heard was, you're going to give us help if we help ourselves. And we don't want to help ourselves. We don't want to be part of that. We don't want to have to be responsible for what has happened. We don't want to be held accountable. We don't want to have to fix things so it doesn't happen again. We just want you to help us. And that's asinine.
Us listening. Also on tariffs, I often agree with you on tariffs, but how about no tariffs on building materials for the next 3 years?
We'll take a look at that, actually.
Mr. President.
Mayor, please.
Yes. First of all, let me just take the opportunity to officially welcome you to Los Angeles. Really appreciate you coming, and especially you come just a few days after your inauguration. So I want you to know that your presence here is very much appreciated. Let me also say
it was very nice of her to say
that I know you had an opportunity to see the devastation. You've seen the extreme loss, the grief that people are going through here. And we are 100% committed to getting this neighborhood rebuilt again. You mentioned a couple of things in terms of us expediting. So I signed executive directives right away so that we could cut the red tape, we could get people back building as fast as possible.
Good. So she's already on it. She's already working on it. Good.
And we're going to continue doing that.
Yeah, the one thing is they are saying they will not be allowed to start for 18 months.
No, that will not be the case.
Okay, I just hope
That
you're
will not,
right.
you can hold me to it.
Because 4 groups said that.
No.
So, see, I'll let that play while I talk. So, see, he's already talked to people, and the people he's talked to has told him, you know, there's a lot of red tape, and you know, what are we going to do if they're going to hold us up with red tape? Now, she's telling him that that's not true, and maybe she did sign executive orders, but that word hasn't got out to the people yet. So, I hope that that's true, and then I hope they hold her to it, and that's what's going to happen, so people can rebuild as fast as possible.
Okay, I just hope you're right.
You can hold me to it.
Because 4 groups said that.
No.
That would be, they should be able to do it. They should be able to start tonight.
That will not be the case. You know, first we have to take care, to make sure that there's not getting rid of the hazardous waste, cleaning things up so that people can start right away. And just like you.
So basically she just said she did a bunch of executive orders and they will be able to build faster, but they're still not going to be able to build immediately because we have to do cleanup before they can build to make sure there's no hazardous waste, etc. So the government is kind of still going to stand in their way. And I understand that they have to make sure where people build is safe. But how fast or how slow is the government going to move in making sure all this is done? I think that's the concern here.
You said if somebody had their house was destroyed and they're going to rebuild essentially the same, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit higher, they really shouldn't have to go through much of a process. So I want you to know that we are expediting that. We absolutely need your help. We need the federal help. You're a builder.
You've got it, I told you. You will have no permit problem. There will be 0 delay. And as far as I'm concerned, you already have the permits.
And the resources.
I am more worried.
She said, and the money. Don't forget the money. We don't care about you helping us with policies and getting rid of the permits. Money, don't forget, send us the money. Send us the money. Did you hear me, Trump? Send the money. That's what she's most concerned about. Send the money.
Because I met at least 8 groups of homeowners, and I'm much more worried about the fact that they said it's 18 months exactly. And they were devastated. They want to start now. They want to start removing things. They're not allowed to do it now. And you mentioned hazardous waste. Well, the hazardous waste, what's hazardous waste? I mean, you're going to have to define that. We're going to go through a whole series of questions on determining what's hazardous.
Nope.
I just think you have to allow the people to go on their site and start the process tonight.
And we will.
Okay, good.
You can come back and check.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, and I represent the areas of Altadena and Pasadena.
Yes.
That's the Eaton fire, and there is a world of hurt there. I know that you've gone to the Palisades and you've seen the devastation,
Right.
but it's apocalyptic in Altadena, and thank goodness I have a partner with Supervisor Catherine Barger in working to help people get back to normal and to rebuild. But right now they have nothing, and there have been 9,500 structures burned. Most of the deaths have occurred in our area with the Eaton fire, and thousands of people are without homes. And these are working people. These are working class people. They are people like Dr. Jackie Jacobs, who was an educator all her life and then finally became the first Black administrator of her educational institution, Pasadena City College, and then retired, now 88 years old, and then her home of 30 years burned in Altadena.
That's devastating. That's devastating.
Yeah.
She has nothing. She left with only the clothes on her back. She has nothing. And so they need this help, and I just want to make sure that you remember the people in Altadena and Pasadena, and that you can come there and see how terrible the devastation has been there so that they can get the help that they need.
Just remember one thing, and I like the way you express yourself, beautifully actually, but I've only been here 3 days, and I'll do a great job. But we had another president, and this took place during the life of another president, not me. But I
want to say he doesn't need to bring this up, but I kind of feel like he does. Because like he said, he's only been in office this is 4 days. He's only been in office, and they've all come together to have this meeting with him, and they're kind of like letting all their grievances be known, and we need this, we need this. And I don't know that they did that with the other administration, so I don't know if this is what he's getting ready to say or not, but I almost want to hold my breath and be like, oh, do we have to bring this up? Because everybody just wants help. But isn't it funny how they're all coming to Trump for help, but they didn't go to Biden for help? Like, they're putting all this on his shoulders. And that's okay. He can deal with it. It's just weird.
I'm going to be the president that's going to help you fix it, because he would not have been able to help you fix it, okay? So we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it, and we'll work closely. Yeah.
Okay, now they have quite a few people talking, and they just let different politicians ask different questions. But I kind of forwarded it here a little bit, and they've talked about the water issues. They've talked about regulations and not letting paperwork and regulations hold them back. Now, this next guy I want to play, I want to make sure we include him because he asked a great question.
You have so much water. Use it and be happy about it.
Mr. President,
be happy.
Mr. President, my name is Joel Pollack, and I am a journalist with Breitbart News, but I happen to live in the Pacific Palisades, as do other colleagues. One colleague, John Kahn, wrote the song Fighter, which you played at your campaign rallies. He lost his house and the studio he wrote that song in. We were lucky because I was able to fight the fire on my fence. But when I got to my house, there was no water in the pipes. So I got inside and I picked up the flower vases, because I give my wife flowers every week, and there was water there, and we started with that. Then I found my son's bucket of baseballs, and I dumped the baseballs on the ground, and I used the bucket. But there was still no water, except for the water in the gutter coming from the burnt homes uphill. So I went to and fro to my gutter and my fence with my bucket. 2 guys showed up in a truck, 2 neighbors. We found 2 more buckets, bucket after bucket after bucket. Many of my neighbors, including some here, tried to fight the fires. They couldn't. We were lucky our house was saved. But we should not have to rely on buckets to put out a fire.
That's right.
You can't stop an 80-mile-per-hour wind or 100-mile-per-hour wind, but there were many things that went wrong here that are basic and small. We did not have traffic police to guide the evacuation, so there was gridlock on Sunset. They've removed the vehicles now, but there were dozens of vehicles that were abandoned by drivers who fled for their lives because there were no traffic cops available. The fire department wasn't pre-deployed, even though there was an extreme wind event coming. And many of my neighbors lost their fire insurance in the days before the blaze. So I asked my neighbors what would they want to know if I could ask the president a question, and the number one thing was insurance. Can you work with the insurance companies to get people back to where they were before they lost the coverage because of California's regulations? And can you make California change its rules so that when we build again, we can get fire insurance and we don't have to worry? And there's one other point I want to make. I really appreciate my congressman advocating for money. We need the money from the federal government. But I also understand Americans who are tired of spending money on California and disasters happen, and the California government passes $50 million to oppose your policies. So they have $50 million for that, but not for moving people into rental homes or helping people relocate or rebuild, I would like to ask you to follow the 9/11 Commission precedent and appoint a special master to watch the money, to make sure that every federal dollar that gets spent here is spent on fire relief and rebuilding and not on everything else.
You jump in the shower. You
Relief and rebuilding and not on everything else.
I think he said everything that a lot of people were thinking. What can we do about insurance? And please make sure this money is not wasted on bureaucracy and on top management. Let it help the people. Great conversation he's having there with the president.
Good idea. Here's a good one right over here. I don't know if you, do we all like
He's
Rick?
very busy.
He was ambassador to Germany. He was fantastic. Angela Merkel's happiest day ever in her history, and she had a long history, was the day I removed him from there and put him in charge of a very high level of intelligence and intelligent people, but they were not intelligent enough to fool him. But Rick Grinnell has been fantastic, and he lives here, and I don't know if you want to either think about it or recommend some people, or get together and recommend some people as a group, which is fine. But Rick would be somebody that I would certainly consider. And Breitbart is fantastic, by the way. Congratulations on that. And I was so impressed with the firefighters I met before. And they said that, I asked them how many of the pumps, how many of the hydrants were working. And it was a, large percentage of them were not working at all. They had no water. And the ones that did have water didn't have a lot of pressure. And one of the things that was missing, many of you have sprinklers over your living room and your bathroom and your kitchen. I mean, if those sprinklers worked with some pressure, you would have had a much different outcome. So we're going to work on that. I think in terms of that, Rick Grinnell would be good, or Rick, you'll head up a group of people that would recommend a few people to me, maybe a commission, set up a commission. I like it because we're talking about a lot of money. The other one is Kelly Loeffler is now the head of small business, and small business is big business. It's actually one of the biggest banks in the world. We call it the Small Business Administration, and she's a cabinet member, full cabinet member. She's fantastic. Her husband is the head of the New York Stock Exchange, so they know something about money and other exchanges, actually. Fantastic people. And she wants to come here almost immediately after she gets approved. She wants to come here and open up small business to the area because they have a lot of money. I always say the small business is actually a very big business when you add it all up. And she's going to come here, and it's a very important thing. I want to thank also the First Lady, because she wanted to come here. She wanted to be here. She has so many friends, and she also wanted to see North Carolina because that was another disaster that was so bad, so different, but so bad. And
so I don't know if you answered the question about the insurance, but I mean, just being able to watch the money and help people rebuild. I wish he would have kind of said more on how to help on the insurance part, but maybe it's in his head and it's spinning and he's going to be thinking on that. So it's good to have the conversation, to bring it up, and then that way they can start working on it to get results.
She just wanted to go there. We said we're going to stop at one and then we're going to the other. In many respects, it was a depressing day, but in many respects, it was a beautiful day because the spirit is so incredible. North Carolina and here. Very, very similar situation. Different, so different and yet so similar, actually. And so I just thought it was very nice. You wanted to be here, and we appreciate that.
Okay, so they have a guy asking a question. You can't really hear what he's saying, but it has to do with the permits and stuff. So I think the mayor's want to touch on this.
It's what everybody said.
Well, and let me just tell you that we are going to do everything we can, slashing regulations, expediting everything so that people can begin the process right away. You know, we have the Disaster Recovery Center on Pico and Westwood. We have building and safety there. People are already contacting the local agencies. We're bringing our city departments together so that people don't get caught in the loop of going from one room to the next. We want them all to be in the same room so that you can get busy rebuilding ASAP.
And I think that's part of the problem where the guy was asking about the red tape and not being able to get this permit, but even if you can get this permit faster, the next permit you can't get. So you still can't rebuild unless all of them are expedited. And she keeps saying that, you know, she's already fixed that. She did an executive order that everybody should be on the same page. So I'm not sure everybody is or was on the same page, but now that they've done this conference here, maybe that will bring attention to it and everyone will get on the same page, hopefully.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And we will clear the lots, absolutely, in the city and in the county. We are working together. Both levels of government are working in unity.
And see, I can't hear everything that they're saying, but she seems to be saying publicly that she will assure that all the red tape is removed so people get help.
Immediately, and you will see this happen, is to clear out the debris. And you know, we're concerned right now over the weekend because of the potential rain, but we are going to move as fast as we can, but we want you to be safe, and we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't cost a lot.
Yes, and they can.
You
and
should
they
let
are
them
able
do
to,
it because
no,
by the time you
can do
hire
that.
contractors, it's going to be 2 years.
If a family...
People are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can
There's
do
not
that.
that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, you know, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking. I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing this stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract that's going to charge him $25,000 to do his lot. Yeah. I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked, I mean, you have a very powerful emergency power, and you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes.
Having your information freely.
So he's really calling her out here, and she's saying over and over again, look, I've exercised these powers, executive powers. I've made it possible so people can do this. So she's saying this publicly today. People can get out and clear their own lots. Well, they've been told otherwise by other people. So she's the mayor, and she's saying, no, if they want to get out and do it, they can do it. And we're going to see what happens tomorrow after this meeting, this public meeting in front of everybody. She's saying they can do it, and she's adamant about it. So let's see what happens in the next 72 hours if people are stopped from cleaning out their own property.
Powerful emergency power, and
Yes.
you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
So see, I don't know
a long time, a week.
Know that you will be able to go back soon.
Okay, I'm having internet issues, so hopefully I can finish this up rather fast because it keeps cutting out on me. I'm so sorry.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
That's a long time, a week. I'll be honest. To me, everyone's standing in front of their house. They want to go to work, and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most
a
important
week
thing
is
is
a
for
long
people
time.
to be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it. I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit. And the permit's going to take them, everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
Last night.
And that was last night.
On that. Right.
So the mayor is sitting here saying she wants everyone to be safe, so they're going to be stopped from going in. It's already been weeks. They're stopped from going in and cleaning their own property. She wants them to be safe. See, this is the problem with government. They think we're stupid. They think that we can't take care of ourselves. Or they know we can. They don't want us to. They want to hold us back. The government is too much in our business. If we want to go on our property and clean our property and fix our property and rebuild our property, the government shouldn't have anything to do with that. And she keeps saying, well, you got to be safe. Well, you got to be safe. Well, we grown. We adults. We are every bit capable of having common sense and knowing how to be safe and not to be safe and how to take precautions. And you know what? If someone gets on their property and they're not, and they make a mistake and they get a boo-boo, they get hurt, best believe they'll learn fast. Stop holding us back. Stop treating us like babies. We are grown people. Let us take care of ourselves.
Mr. President, we're going to be together next week, and during the interim, many of us are involved in, and Tom McClintock, who you know has been an expert on this for years,
That's right.
we are going to be putting conditions on the money that do two things. Require that it be done timely and affordable, and then secondly, that we protect those who will come afterwards. As we speak, there are 6,000 acres burning in my district on the Mexican border. There will be more fires until we include in any disaster relief items which will prevent it or at least mitigate it from happening again. So you're going to see us proposing both of those.
Like water. Little things
we're gonna
like
do
water.
that for
You
them.
know, the party of common sense. See, we're the party of common sense. You're not, in all fairness.
Yes, sir.
We like water.
Okay, I went ahead and forwarded up a little bit just to try to get through this, and they're talking about policies and getting through the red tape and FEMA and how FEMA has not been helpful, and they're questioning why he wants to get rid of FEMA. They need, FEMA's help. So this is the conversation that's going on there.
FEMA has a standard that's so slow. They want permit on permit on permit, and then they want permits on top of that. If you use FEMA, you'll be here for a long time. What I'm saying is get the city, get the state to give you immediate 24-hour permits. These people are going to build their own homes. They're going to get them built fast. How many of the people, could I ask you one question? How many of the people, what are people going to do for financing? What are people going to do? How many people can build a home, percentage-wise?
Your hair deserves a
Commercials.
How many of the people, what are people going to do for financing? What are people going to do? How many people can build a home, percentage-wise, like where they don't have to go out and get funds. Some people are just not going to be able to rebuild their home because they have a beautiful home, but they don't have cash, right? So what are people looking to do in that case? You're going to have a big percentage, I would assume, Brad, like that. What are they going to do? Go ahead.
Mr. President, without your help, they're only going to get $43,000 from the federal government, even if they have a half
Well,
million dollar
you did
uninsured
something,
loss.
Brad, where every insurance company in the country left California. That's why you have no insurance, because you made it so impossible. People that think like you made it so impossible. And you know,
Brad, me?
every
Mr.
insurance
President,
company.
I don't know what
I'll
you
tell
know
you this,
about my thinking.
I've never seen a state where almost nobody has insurance. And I said, what happened? And they said like 6 months ago they all left, and 2 years ago they had different quadrants, but they left. And you have very little insurance here. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
We had a lot of insurance companies pull out, but I have no
And
idea.
the insurance companies actually have been warning you. Now, I'm not a big fan of insurance companies, okay? They have their big drawbacks too, but the insurance company, I read the papers very well, and they've been warning California for a long time. They've also been saying, we want water. You don't have water. You're supposed to get fire insurance. And the insurance company goes, you don't have any water in your fire hydrants. So it's a tough situation. I'm not a big fan of insurance companies. I get that.
They're pulling out of Florida
Brad,
as
you
well.
lost your insurance company 6 months ago because the state wouldn't give them what they had to have.
Yeah, and Mr. President, I remember the
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Now, he was speaking to a Democrat congressman there who, by the way, said he wanted to defend FEMA. So I guess defend the insurance companies and defend not what they're supposed to be doing and not taking accountability.
Ed Ring from the California Policy Center, and in the matter of prevention of fires, in the matter of the cost of rebuilding, both of which affect insurance rates, I think one, to support something one of the other participants said, a reform you might consider, and it could be an act of Congress, is that the losers in environmentalist lawsuits pays the legal fees. And I think that would be a big step in the right direction.
Oh, you mean loser pays. I love that. Well, if you did loser pays, you could cut your courts in you could cut them down about 90%. Loser pays. You know what?
I don't know where it's at, but there are some places that already are doing this. So if you take a lawsuit out and you lose, then you have to pay all the court fees and the other lawyer fees and stuff like that. I think that's what he's proposing in California.
Would also benefit medical. If you had loser pays for medical, your medical costs would go down by 50%. That's an interesting thing. I bring that up, but the only problem, the strongest lobby in the world, you know what it is? The lawyer lobby. So when you go back to your local congressman, hello, congressman, how about going against the lawyers for a little while? No, loser pay is, very good. In Europe, they use it in certain parts of Europe, and they have very little litigations, right?
Okay, and so they took a few more questions from some other people. You couldn't really hear them that well, so I kind of forward past that. Now he's getting up to the end of this. This has been a good conversation. This has been Democrats and Republicans, independents, everybody in between, talking about what issues are, how to fix the issues. This has been a good little conversation, and I think they're going to walk away from this with some things to do and things to put into place and other things to think about they hadn't thought about before. So this has been a good little conversation on how to help rebuild California and do it fast. But we're getting to the end of it now.
We need to make sure that never happens again. We have to stop those things from happening so we don't have
it will happen.
And they was talking about the policies and the red tape and the bureaucracy and the permits and everything that's holding them back from rebuilding.
Here,
Palisades.
Unless you're very strong as a group of people and demand that you have the right to go onto your property and start the process immediately, like tomorrow. How many people did I see on your street where they're standing in front of their lot? The house there's really not much demolition. It's incinerated, right? So it's not like a lot of stuff. It's not like you have 3 stories worth of concrete. It's all incinerated. And all of the people were standing there and they weren't allowed to even go onto their lot. You got to let them do. If you can do that, you're going to see this thing go like wildfire. And if you don't, you're going to have those lots for years because people are going to leave. They're going to, as much as you love your location and your place, and you're in the real estate business, as much as you love your location and your site, your housing sites, they're going to leave. They're going to leave. They're going to find other things. They're not going to put up with it. They have spirit now, but in a year from now, they won't have spirit if you don't let them go. So just harness it. Well, I think, look, I'm going to give you everything you want. I'm going to give you more than any president would have ever given you. If most presidents wouldn't be here, number one. They certainly wouldn't be here after 3 days. They would not be here, I can tell you that. And we're going to override all of permitting. The only thing you have to do is get your state people, which should be very easy, because that's literally so easy to do. And I know the mayor, and I know she's working very hard, but she's got very powerful emergency, it's called an emergency petition, and you can petition very quickly. And I just hope you can give them, because it's very rare that the federal government would be ahead of the state government, because the federal permits are much tougher. But you essentially already have your permits. You can just go and go wild. Brad, as soon as you can get those permits, whatever you can do, if you can put that genius of yours to work on getting a permit, you'll be doing much better than some of the other things you've said, okay? But we do appreciate you. So, Mayor, could I just leave you with that? It's a big permitting deal. We're going to be back, and I'm going to put Rick in charge of just representing me for a period of time until we figure out exactly who we want to do it, whether we want a commission or an individual. You know, if you have a good individual, if you have a really good individual, and they are rare, but if you have a really good individual, it's always better than a commission, because a commission gets bogged down a little bit, Darrell, right? So it's if you had the right individual. And I know we do. We have a lot of great individuals in this community. But it's an honor to be with you. It was an honor to be with your firemen before and your policemen. We met some great people. And these are people that are leaders, and they're just fantastic. It's a fantastic group of people, and they were very brave. I want to tell you, your fire people are so well thought of. You had big fires, and it was hard to put them out, but boy, were they brave. They were really fighting against a tough thing, and everybody in the country knows it. Everybody in the country knows it. And it was an honor to be with you. So I'll be back, and we'll work very hard, and I hope you guys can start doing your cleanup starting like tomorrow at around 12 o'clock, okay? Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Brad. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Fred. Nice to meet you. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, that was a great conversation. I thought that was a really good conversation. And, I didn't mean for this to be that long. However, this is just a little bit over an hour. I kind of went through almost 3 hours worth in a little over an hour. And thank you to everybody that stuck through it with me. I hope the media doesn't tear the mayor apart tomorrow for agreeing so much with him and getting along with him and, saying that she would work with him, because that's what they should be doing. That's what this is all about, is just, working with the president and doing what they need to be doing to, fix California. And, same thing in North Carolina. So that sums it up, 2.5 hours worth of stuff there and just a little over an hour. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I know my audio is probably horrible. You can tell me all about it. Any comment is a good comment. There's no bad comments. I don't care if you tear me apart. I'm working on my audio. I'm working, on fixing a lot of this stuff. But it's a process. But in the meantime, I still want to keep bringing you stuff. You may not want to sit down and watch that whole thing, so I've kind of spiced it up for you and, put it in here in different sections. And that's about it. That's Trump going to California. saying everything that he's going to do, getting rid of all the red tape and, doing it safe, doing it fast, and getting it done and helping the people. What do y'all think about that? We'll see you next time.